G'day, Flosstube. Anna, aka Moranalis, back with a special stitching update. Those of you who were around in May for Maynia know that my intention over that month was to start 3 chatelaines, and we only got 2 because we were waiting on the pattern that never arrived for the Tahiti Mandala. Last week I mentioned that I basically had given up getting my hands on the paper chart with the current state of affairs. It just was not going to happen. And so asking for advice on, when I should start this, because if I'm going to buy the PDF, I can just download it and do that whenever. And Patricia piped up in the comments and said, "Bye, no." And I was walking into work, so I sat down and I bought it then. So I bought it. But I had to wait until the weekend until I actually had enough brain cells to focus on actually starting it. So without further ado, we are going to have a mini Maynia makeup. Is that enough M's? I don't know, with mandalas. So, excuse me, I have officially started the Tahiti Mandala. I sat on virtual stitchers tonight and I've just put a couple of colors in the center center design. We're going to be playing the same game with the earlier mandalas where we're picking around colors that I don't have because these were kitted up in extremely quick succession, and water lilies and glorianas are expensive when you're buying large quantities of them. I will also be subbing out a fair number of things, particularly any solid colored silks and stuff for their DMC equivalent, just because I honestly think you get just as nice of a mandala with the DMC as spending all that money on the silks and stuff that aren't, if they have variegation, it's obvious, but if they don't, then why are you spending the money? At least that's my opinion. So you can see I've basically put in one sort of blue-green run of silk lame braid. So that's got a lovely subtle shine that just won't be showing in this. And then the dark navy blue. Was a bit peeved to realize when I think it was that one, there's about 3 stitches missing out of that silk lame braid because right at the end of finishing that thread, I stuffed it up and had to rip out about 3 stitches. So as far as stuff ups go, 3 stitches ain't bad, but I'm going to have to put those back in. And it's just kind of I don't want to do that right now. So from here, my intention, this dark navy blue is a framework for a lot of the design. So I'm going to keep pushing outwards a little bit to try and spread out the size of that center. And then I will go back in and fill in bits and pieces as I get some of those extra threads that I'm missing and stuff. I haven't substituted anything yet. I will mention as I do subs. And I will be doing this in a vlog sort of style, same as I did during Maynia proper. So you'll see daily updates for this first week, probably just this first week. I will work on it every day and film daily updates. So enjoy, we have a new adventure. I'll see you tomorrow. G'day, Flosstube. August 31st, ripping in for a super quick update on the Tahiti Mandala. Time got away from me by the time I picked up the kids, did my lettuce chores. It's already dark. Still have other jobs I need to do. So anyway, we shall do this quick. Hold on, got this turned around. Day 2. We have basically just extended into a 3rd color. Yes, there is 2 separate colors in there, not that you can tell in the camera. And then out in that petal shape. Tried to do a bit of stitching before coffee this morning, had to rip out half my petal and put it back in. So don't stitch a chatelaine before coffee. Hopefully I might be able to finish the rest of that one tomorrow, today, no, tonight. I'll show you tomorrow. Beyond that, there's yet more framework in those couple of dark blues that I will push out. So yeah, hope you like dark blue. That's what we're going to see for a while. This particular one is charted as a Gloriana, I believe, Velvet Sky. It's a dead ringer for the DMC replacement Martina gives, so that's DMC in there. All right, I will see you tomorrow. Hey, Flosstube. It is September 1st. Just got back from the dragging all the kids around, picking them up from after school activities, taking friends home, all that jazz. So I've come to drop in quick to show you what I managed in the last 24 hours or so on the Tahiti Mandala. And that is where we're up to. So yesterday I had not finished this sort of pointy petal motif. I obviously finished that. I rounded those out with the little extra bits. And then at that point, I still have about 3 more circuits of the 2 dark blue framework colors to finish off that center bit. But I decided I was kind of done and tired with dark blue. So I've gone back to the silk lame braid, mostly because it's the one symbol I had already looked up and knew off the top of my head what it matched to. So I went and put in some of those stitches. There is more of the silk lame braid up in these sections and stuff, so I may finish off a bit more of that before I go back to doing those framework blues. Highly doubt we will have all of the framework done in time for tomorrow. Just don't get that much time in a stitching day. But hopefully maybe we get at least another circuit in a bit. That'd be good. Anyway, until then, I will catch you later. G'day, Flosstube. September 2nd, I think. Wednesday, anyway. Yeah, it's gotten well late tonight. The sun's long since set. Spent all day, you know those work days when you can see the train wreck coming and you try and say as much to people? Nobody listens. So we're all watching the train wreck come in slow motion. It was one of those days. Hasn't hit yet. We'll get that joy in another few days, I suppose. Anyway, so rough day at work, then had to wait in town for my daughter to do art. So, you know, that part's not such a hardship. I sat on the strand and on the beach and had a bit of a stitch and managed to get a few more threads in the Tahiti Mandala. Bit chilly out in the wind, but you know, if that's life's biggest dramas, that's not so bad. So you can see I've started filling in a bit more color in there. I've gotten, I think when I filmed yesterday, I figured 2 more circuits around that framework. 3. I have done 2, which means I only have 1 left, basically another color right along that outer ring. And after that, it's just all proceeding to fill in the designs. By the time you get to the outside of the ring, it's changed motif. We have sand and shells type design starting to peek out. So we'll finish this geometric blue watery pattern before we move on to those, or at least as much as I have threads for. So you can see I have started to add another color of silk lame braid in there because I needed more bling in my life. When you've had a rough day at work, everybody needs more bling. So I will probably proceed to try and fill in all of these blocks, you know, those points to match that one, and then finish off. That one's not quite done with the 3 colors. You see I'm missing a little bit there, but basically get him all to that stage all the way around, and then we'll look at what to do next. and hopefully maybe do that last circuit around that outer ring, because that should be fairly quick because you don't have to count. You're just following the stitches that are already there. So that will see how far we get tonight. And if nothing else, tomorrow is Thursday, which is my Friday, which means no more work. So I should be able to film tomorrow. I have a feeling I have something on tomorrow. I should be able to film tomorrow. We'll see where we get up to tomorrow. Talk to you then, guys. G'day, Flosstube. Thursday, September 3rd. It's the end of a work week. Awesome. Yeah, got a bit of stitching in today because I was sitting in the hospital and the appointments never run on time. So, you know, plenty of time to stitch while I wait, and made fairly good progress today. I'm pretty pleased with that. We got all the new color of silk lame braid in those points, and another silk lame braid filling in around the outside. There is acres and acres and acres of silk lame braid in this thing. I keep all those, you know, the treasure braid and the silk lame, the stuff that comes on those larger cards from Rainbow Gallery. I keep them on in a 5x7 photo box, and that photo box is absolutely chokers. And I'm certain I've only got the silk lame braid in there, not the treasure braid that will eventually come. You could probably fit 1 or 2 more cards in there, but that's about it. It's pretty full. So yeah, this thing, as per all of Martina's works, will certainly sparkle by the time I get done with it. But I didn't think that was too bad for a 24 hours worth of progress. Had to play a little bit of catch up tonight since I missed so much time at work sitting in the waiting room at the hospital. Had to make up a few hours this evening, so I'm gonna hop on virtual shortly and see what the girls are doing and see if I can't get a few more stitches in for the day. Until tomorrow. Excuse me. The doctor's appointment was about the cough, so we shall see what results we get from that. Hopefully. Here's the answer. Take this and the cough will go away. That'd be great, wouldn't it? All right, until next time. See you later. G'day, Flosstube. Friday night. Just finished up at the community center and thought I'd drop in and let you see where I was up to with the Tahiti Mandala. Didn't get as much done today as I had hoped. Very nearly finished the last color to finish out that outer rim. There is obviously, like, that little bit has a fair bit more that can go in there. Might try and finish those 4 things. And then I think I will actually start to come out to the sand and shells and stuff that come around that outer border. There are a few colors I could fill in here, but there's a lot of the Glorianas and stuff that I'm still missing. So at this point, I think it's probably easier just to leave those sections that are incomplete until I get a few more of those threads and continue pushing my way up. Having said that, I haven't actually looked at the threads that are called for in those, the sand and the shells on that outer rim. So if those threads aren't in my stash either, we may have to reassess where we're going from here. But I have to imagine I've got something in that next room. But as it stands, I love those blues. And I think there's 2 colors of plain old DMC at the moment, and the rest of it's silk lame braid. So, you know, it doesn't show very well in the camera, but all of it has a subtle shimmer, with the exception of that very dark navy and the very next. It's actually quite a bright blue that sits right next to the navy. It makes a great sort of shading edge to those those lines. So yeah, loving it. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will continue working on this through Sunday. I think that will be a week that I've given to this mandala, and then I will go back to my regular scheduled stitching, stitching on what I feel like when I feel like. So yeah, I'll check in tomorrow, and hopefully my kids have a practice in town, so I will have to spend like 2 and a bit hours waiting for them. Hopefully I can make a lot of progress sitting in the local botanic gardens waiting for them to finish their practice. See you tomorrow. G'day, Flosstube. Saturday. No idea what the date is. It's a Saturday. Tomorrow will be my last day of work on Tahiti for this vlog series. And then I highly suspect it will go away for a couple of months. But I made some progress today. Did not get my nice sit in the botanic gardens waiting for the kids because my husband decided he wanted to go for coffee. But as you can see, I did get some new pieces in. I think there's one more blue that I can put in here that I definitely have, but I've started to move out some of the outer motifs just to see how they're gonna look. These turtles up here are one of the main reasons I bought that chart. I just love those turtles. They are highly putsy to stitch. If you enjoy putsy stitching, you'll enjoy these. They are gorgeous. I love the way they are turning out, but they are definitely a don't talk to me, I'm concentrating job. This motif is much easier, just a couple of nice circuits, some nice easy, some metallic in there, a couple of the Gloriana Floramel silks in there. Excuse me. Those Floramel silks, I feel like they're a bit shinier than your average water lily or Gloriana type silk. I'm not entirely sure what's different with them, but I just feel like they look shinier. Maybe it's all in my head. Yeah, other than that, not a whole lot to say. I don't know that I'll finish that turtle tomorrow, but I will try and get very, very close to finishing that tomorrow, and probably only just a token effort to continue working in here. I do tend to find that I will do a thread of the turtle and then work somewhere else, and then go back and do a thread in the turtle and work somewhere else. Otherwise, it's like doing heavy confetti. It's just a lot to concentrate on and think and do for a long period of time. So one thread seems to be enough, and he's so awesome. Until tomorrow, I will see you then. Today, Flosstube, Sunday evening, and dropping in with one last check-in for the Tahiti Mandala. And not so much progress today. Kind of had this wishful thinking I might finish that turtle, but just decided he's a bit putsy and I was making too many mistakes, and discretion was the better part of valor there. So we have gotten there. Put it upright, the turtle's at the top. I'm not entirely sure what that shape's going to wind up being. Looks kind of leafy. It's the green and gold colors. There is one little stitch wide border of the petite treasure braid, the bright shiny gold in there. But a lot of this is just plain old DMC. I think everything that's gone in there so far is called for. Yeah, the dark green is a silk lame, And some of those are those floral silks that we talked about yesterday being a bit shinier than the rest. You can see I've started coming in and filling in the sand. So there's 2 in there now, a silk lame, and then again another petite treasure braid. So there's a fair bit of sparkle there. The lower colors of sand are a mix of some plain old DMC and some silks that I don't have. So unfortunately, I'm probably not going to make much more progress in that sand until I go shopping. Inside that sand, each section, there's about 4 shells in each one of those gaps. And this chart, they are charted on the chart, the main chart, as 2/2 shells, but you do get a 1/1 option. So therefore I have to decide which one I'm going to do. I have a hard time coming to the conclusion that, you know, with all the time and effort invested into these things, I should just do the 2/2. Having said that, I really struggled in the Japanese moss garden with those fish that were charted the same way, where on the main chart they were 2/2, and then you were trying to fudge these 1/1s in their right spot. So I wonder whether I might be better off this time around doing the 1/1 first and then filling in the background and fudging the background a bit more. We may try that, but we're not trying anything until I pick it up next. So yeah, that turtle, you can see he's nearly there. He's got a head, he's got one front flipper, but he's missing the other front flipper. So one more strand of black caw to finish him up. He's just plain old DMC 310. But I mean, how cool is that turtle? That's awesome. So this, the turtle's head and that corner, that is the extent of what Martina calls part 1 for the Tahiti Mandala. So when I pull this out next time, I will basically continue replicating these corner pieces, doing the sand shells, the other turtles, to finish out part 1 before we go on to the next section. And to be honest, I haven't even looked at the next section recently enough to tell you what's in there. So we will all find out together in a few months. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Excuse me. Excuse me. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at the Tahiti Mandala and getting started with me. I've certainly enjoyed starting it myself. Actually, if anybody knows of somebody who stitched the Tahiti Mandala, the seashells 2/2 or similar bits of Martina's work where you were given the option and they've done it 2/2, I'd be really interested in seeing pictures of how theirs turned out with the 2/2. So leave me a comment if you can direct me at any pictures where somebody's done 2/2. I think that's about it. This will likely go away for at least a month, I would assume. I'll pull out some of the other mandalas before I pull out this one again. I think a week is good. You get a lot of nice progress, but I'm ready for a change now. So, yeah, I'll see you in my next Flosstube and we'll figure out what I've done then. All right? Thanks, guys. See you next time.